On this video on House of Dula, we are taking an exclusive look at AJE's K-member and front suspension components for a little 1979 coupe EcoBoost swap project car. I think you'll want to stay tuned to the end because AJE has given me permission to unveil a one-of-a-kind product for Fox Mustangs that I think is going to rock the Fox Mustang world. So stay tuned. What is up, YouTube, man? Welcome back to the House of Dula. I'm glad to have you as always. Welcome to my garage. Listen, man, first and foremost, I just want to apologize for not making a video in quite some time. It's been a while, but hey, listen, we went on vacation and took my GoPro with me to take some family movies and whatnot, and ended up leaving it on a trail. Long story, but anyways, the company that we were with ended up finding it and took about 2 to 3 weeks to send them back to me, so I've got my gear. But anyways, I've been gearless. But hey, listen, let's not talk about this. In this video, we're going to be exclusively looking over the AJE front suspension components, K-member, coilovers, A-arms, caster camber plates, the whole bit. I just want to show off everything that we're going to be bolting on this car in the next video. And as you can see here, I'm finishing up, getting rid of some of the paint and stuff. You can see the K-member has now been removed. That's pretty cool. But basically what I'm doing is just getting this thing prepped and ready for an epoxy primer coat we're going to be doing on the entire engine bay here very soon, so that we can install the K-member and get the engine mounted and actually test fit it. So this is getting fun. This is the fun part, okay? Some of the harder work's done. Now we're into the build process. We're going to start building this car. So as you can see, the AJE K-member is in. I wanted to go ahead and test fit it to see how it fit. Make sure there's no problems being a 1979 model. There was no issues. It fits perfectly, but I'm going to go ahead and remove it just so we can exclusively take a look at their components. So let's do that right now. All right, guys, feast your eyes on this, huh? So this is the AJE's K-member and actually front suspension kit that comes with the K-member, the motor mounts, the A-arms, the coilover kits, as well as caster camber plates. So there's really everything I need for my EcoBoost swap here. Now AJE is AJEsuspension.com, Anthony Jones Engineering, and everything is superb quality and top notch. Now you may be wondering why AJE versus everybody else. All right, so why AJE? Why not all the other companies? There's about 100 other people who make tubular K-members and upper control arms, lower control arms, A-arms, all that kind of stuff for our FOXBODY Mustangs here. However, I found out and I heard from the grapevine that AJE was making motor mounts for the EcoBoost motor. Went on the website, couldn't find it specifically for a 2.3 liter EcoBoost, but it did say 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder engine mounts. So I ended up calling them up just to double check to make sure what kind of mounts they had and what 4-cylinder. Ended up talking to this guy on the phone for, man, a good 30 or 40 minutes about the entire project. This guy was extremely detailed, talking about, spring rates, angles of the A-arms, the hide rides, and everything else that you kind of need to do with this custom build back here, our little 1979 project. So as I'm talking to the guy, I turned out his name is Anthony. It took me a little bit to figure it out, but Anthony Jones here was the gentleman I was talking to and was the owner of the company. So lo and behold, as he starts telling me all the technical stuff they make, this guy is clearly an engineer and was talking way over my head. But man, he starts talking to me about how they do specifically make a 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine mount for their K-member. Not only that, their K-member is one of the only ones in the industry, or the only one in the industry, that is a modular design, meaning that you could buy the K-member one time, and as you swap motors and grow your build, you only need to buy just the motor mounts without switching the whole K-member out. Now to me that is essentially and just extremely cool, because in this car, if we ever decide to go say to maybe like a Godzilla swap, that'd be rad, Coyote, or whatever the case is, or maybe you have a 302 and you want a stock setup in yours, you have a stock engine, but later on you want to put a 351 in it, maybe later on you want to put a Coyote in it. You don't have to drop the K-member to do that. These stay in the same spot, and all you have to do is change out the mounts. So to me, that is huge. But the fact that I was on the phone with Anthony and he was extremely interested asking a lot of questions and had absolutely no problem explaining to me all of their products in extreme detail. Speaks volumes to me, guys. It's not every day you can pick up a company like this and start talking to them. As I start talking about the project and I start talking about the channel, Anthony was kind enough to send the stuff to me for you guys and to help show what their products can do. So to me, that is really, really, really cool. So I'm on the phone with Anthony. He's telling me about everything he's done in life. So he was working for the Cummins company. In 1971, he got hired to work for Cummins, and he was on the head assembly line. But just 1 year later, I think in 1972, he got moved into the engineering department, which he worked there until 2001. And guys, Anthony was in charge of putting the first Cummins into the early Dodge Ram pickups, the B-Series Cummins engine. So the guy knows what he's talking about. So Anthony was involved in racing Mustangs for a really long time, and just kind of helped support and help pay for car parts. He opened up AJE in 1990. So it's definitely not like he is nobody. So it looks like in 93, Ford sent him an SC95 Mustang to build a tube chassis for it. So he was one of the first people that were able to install a Mustang from the SC95, the tube chassis, in an SC95 Mustang. In 1998, they came out with drop spindles for the FOXBODY Mustangs, all racing components. And then in 99, I believe, they came up with the Y2K-member, which is what this is, which is a perfectly fitting name, right? Y2K-member here is where they came up with the modular design K-member that had individual motor mounts. AJE doesn't stop there. They don't make stuff anymore for just Mustangs. They do make things for Camaros, Firebirds, Thunderbirds, gosh, your early F100 trucks, 53 to 93 Ford trucks, as well as Mopars. So they're making a ton of race products and light-end front suspension, tube chassis parts, and they are just absolutely chock full of parts for these cars. But his roots has always been back with the Fox Mustangs here. So needless to say, it's the right company for the right job here, okay? So the whole time I'm on the phone with Anthony, he is absolutely schooling me on everything that they do, and is way over my head, and he is there to walk you through it, which is awesome. And it just shows a ton about a company when the owner is literally there to help walk you through your project and get the right components that you need for your build. So let's talk about the Camber. Hey, listen, first off, why do you need a Camber like this, a tubular Camber? Come on, man. If you've been living underneath a rock and you've been part of the FOXBODY Mustang world, tubular K-members are the thing to go to for a lot of reasons. One, they're lighter weight. Okay, you're going to shave off at least 60 pounds with just a tubular K-member alone, get into the stock Camber. You're going to save upwards to 120 probably pounds with the full front tube end and strut and coilover, or the Coilover Kit with the tubular A-arms and the Coilover Kit. So that's cool. You're also going to get a lot more room for headers, okay, and obviously you're going to get more room for engine swaps. But mostly, it looks good. In my opinion, man, you open up the hood of Mustang and you don't see all that big bulky steel metal underneath the hood. It looks really cool. The tubular K-member itself is the meat and potatoes of this thing. Now, there's a couple other things. Now, I know I mentioned the motor mounts being modular, so that is obviously very cool. So those here are the EcoBoost engine mounts. So these things will bolt on the side of the block and bolt into place here on the engine mount just like that. But another thing that makes their K-member stand out from the rest of them is that they have, notice they have widened slotted here on the passenger side of the car, and on the driver's sides they have solid holes. So these are locating pins. Now I talked to Anthony about this, and this is something that's specific to them. I think other K-member companies might be doing something similar, but this is very specific so that you can locate your K-member with these two bolts, and then any kind of left or right adjustments can be put into place on this side so that it fits. Now, he explained to me very clearly that back in the day when these cars were built, they were not perfect. Obviously, everything was going to be slightly off. Nothing's always going to be perfect on these things going down the assembly line. Because of that, Ford did something similar with the way these mounts, okay? Notice on the back side too, how they have elonged. Now, other K-member companies don't have these elongated holes on the bottom or the back mounts on your K-member. AJE's does. What that means is on my 1979, I had 0 issues mocking this thing up. Other K-members, you're going to have to modify these because these will be in place just for basically your 82 and up FOXBODY Mustang. So that is unique in the fact that he said, listen, you're going to locate your K-member just with these holes. Any differences made up will be over here, and as well any differences made up over there. He's never once had to plumb bob their K-members. Now I asked him specifically, do you recommend squaring, truing, and plumb bobbing this K-member? And he said, listen, if you want to knock yourself out, have at it, but he's never had the need to. The tolerances on this are going to be better than what they would have been from Ford anyways, from the factory. these things were slapped on, bolt in, and they were put in the assembly line. They weren't plumb bobbed from the factory, okay? You may be wondering why I have two different A-arms here. So I opted for the Coilover Kit, which is what you see here on the right, but AJE was nice enough to send me their stock spring bucket A-arm kit so you can take a look at these guys. Now this is a really common option, especially if you're just wanting to keep your front suspension stock. And if you're gonna do that, you're gonna opt for the Spring Perch Kit like you see here. So this is obviously gonna be your lower A-arm with the spring bucket in place. It also comes with your upper spring bucket mount that would go up on your K-member like this. So that's gonna be a real common kit for a lot of guys who just wanna go with a tubular K-member and also keep their front suspension and use their stock springs. And guys, the ball joints are already installed, ready to go, ready to put in your SC95 spindles on and your big Cobra brake kit. So these are ready to go and gonna save you a lot of time with using spacers or other kind of things on a stock ball joint like you would need to. If you have any more questions about doing that, just definitely check out my 5-lug brake conversion video along with the Cobra brake kit install. All right, now like I said earlier, I opted for the Coilover Kit. Now the Coilover Kit, when you get from AJE, is going to come with your sleeve, it's going to come with your adjusting spanner wrenches, and it's going to come with Viking springs. Now these Viking springs are 150 pound because it's going to be handling quite a bit of lightweight on the front end of this Mustang here. So you don't need a really heavy spring rate, but if you, like I said, if you need help with this, give them a call and they can definitely talk with you about your spring rate you needed. So we opted for the 170 pound springs up front because we're going to be putting the lightweight EcoBoost motor on it. This is also Anthony's caster camber plate design. Now I've got these on my 86 right here, but what stands these out from the other ones is really just the big bottom plate here. There's a lot of load that's happening on your shock towers, especially with coilovers. So these are meant for your coilover kit, and it's going to be able to handle load because of the size of this bottom plate that sandwiches on the bottom side of your shock tower. So there's a lot of thought that went into these guys, and they're pretty heavy duty, so those are going to do the job just fine. Now the struts here are Strange Struts. Now this I did not get from AJE. I did call Anthony and talk to him about what he recommended, and just for mine, since this is really just going to be a street car, it's not going to be drag raced, a single adjustable strange strut should be perfect for what we're trying to do with it. So there's our front setup, man. We got Strange Struts, we got Viking coilovers, we've got AJE's caster camber plates, EcoBoost mounts on their Y2K-member, lower A-arms, and everything is ready to go, and I cannot wait to get this thing installed. It's going to be rad. All right, remember I said, hey, stay tuned to the end of the video because I got something really, really cool to tell you. So check this out. Okay, so Anthony has given me permission to let you guys know about this before anyone else on the planet knows about it, okay? They have produced a product that, in my opinion, is a game changer for the industry. It's a game changer for the FOXBODY Mustangs and enthusiasts like you and myself, okay? Check this out. They have produced a spindle, okay, that'll work on a stock Fox and all of their A-arms, but let you bolt on an S550 brake front system, okay? Guys, that's a 14-inch and a 15-inch brake. If you go with a Cobra brake system, you can put on a 14-inch brake setup from an S550 or a 15-inch brake setup from a Cobra on a FOXBODY Mustang with their spindles, okay? They are producing spindles that let you bolt these right on. All the clearances and everything is ready to go. They've done all the hard work for you. All the engineering has been done, and you've heard it right here first. Right here, nowhere else, okay? Listen, they're planning on announcing this at the next SEMA upcoming here, and he says the price range is going to be somewhere in the $700-ish range. So listen, that's a game changer, and it's made me absolutely rethink the Cadillac brake Brembo setup. So stay tuned for that. We may be bolting on S550 front brakes on this car. There you have it. All right, we're not going to get to the install today. You're going to have to wait to another video to do a full-length install. So AJE suspension components will be installed completely, and we'll do a full video in detail on putting the K-member in, fitting it up to the 79 chassis, installing the coilovers, installing the caster camber plates, putting in the A-arms, putting in the brakes, and then dropping the motor in and test fitting everything in this K-member. So there'll be a full-length video on that later. Right now we can't do that because I'm waiting on the engine bay to be epoxy primered. I've ordered some SPI epoxy from this company called VRS. Shop VRS, again, ended up calling them and accidentally talking to the owner. They were extremely helpful. This guy was so legitimately helpful, you have no idea. He even called me back just to confirm my order and make sure I had the right thing and everything I needed. So that was pretty rad. So that's coming, SPI epoxy primer. Now you can see the car, since last time you guys saw it, has changed quite a bit. We've seam sealed it. You got the KBS black, all the black here is KBS rust seal prevention that's going to be top coated with the epoxy. So essentially what I want to do is get the epoxy primer on to protect the bare metal. You can see that also the HVAC box has been removed so we can get around those holes and get a good adhesion and get a nice paint job of the primer so that we can start doing body work. So in this case, what you really want to do, or the best thing to do, is go ahead and spray the epoxy primer and then start doing your filler coat. So we'll be putting filler on the Scott Rod panels, on the back wall here, pretty much everywhere in the engine bay to smooth it out before probably shooting another coat of epoxy primer and then getting ready for the avalanche gray coat. But we can't do that until we know where everything fits. So that's the idea, is once this is in place, then we can start mocking up things like fuel lines, finish up the wire tuck, get all the locations for it and all the pins mounted. So the brake booster, we can get it fit in. I gotta do a brake pedal assembly swap. That'll be coming. And then we can finally put everything kind of back together and get everything ready, because the engine bay is gonna be paint matched with the avalanche gray. So it's gonna be awesome, guys. And it really is coming along really quick. This is the exciting part. If you can't tell, I'm almost winded because I'm so excited talking about it. This over here is amazingly cool. The products we're getting in is just super neat, and this car is going to be one of a kind. It really is going to be a little bit different than anything else out there, and I really can't wait because this is the fun part. All the hard work of pulling the old crap out, the biggest stuff out, has been done. Now we're going to focus on making this engine bay really pretty and then mock all this stuff up and then getting our little EcoBoost motor in and start building a car. All right, guys, that's a wrap. We're gonna end the video here. Hey, listen, 100% thank you for watching, and thank you for your patience, because I know I'm not putting out the content as fast as I could be or I should be. It's just been a busy summer. So hey, listen, you'll see more content coming for sure, but really quick, another special thanks to AJE. Thank you, Anthony, for being so kind to us and kind to the channel. I sincerely appreciate it. And also, hey, listen, we got a lot of content coming though. On this car specifically, we'll be doing paint, body work. There's so much to do. I have my work cut out for me. I got more work to do on it today, tonight. I'm gonna be working on it to get this thing ready for paint and primer. Everything's gonna be painted in the garage. I'm gonna walk you through everything. We're doing it at home, okay? There's no professional paint booth, nothing like that. It's gonna be happening. It's all gonna happen here, and we're gonna be doing it step by step on the video here. So that's cool. Not to mention all the front end mock-up we had to do on the suspension. So hey, listen, the blue car, there's another video coming out in. I've got a lot of people who have been asking me just generally how different parts have been going on the car. The car has now been built for 5-something years, okay? And we've had, I don't know, I've been driving this thing for a solid year, just with the On3 turbo kit, a year plus, okay? So the turbo kit's, gosh, it's only been on, almost been on for 2 years now. So guys, we're really talking about, you know, a long time. I've been putting some miles on this car, so let's actually go through it all. Let's talk about everything that's been on it. The Raleigh fan controller, the DeWitt's radiator, and some of their components, even the LED lights. A lot of people ask me how I like and how things are holding up on the car that we've bolted onto. So we're going to make a video just specifically on following up on some of the bolt-ons we put on the blue car. So stay tuned for that. Listen, thank y'all so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram and check out the new houseofdula.com. If you go there, it's kind of a combination of everything. You'll see all my Instagram photos. It's Facebook links to my Facebook group page specific for House of Dula. And then it's also got, you know, quick links to all of my latest videos and also swag. If you want to help the channel out, you can get yourself a House of Dula t-shirt or sticker. It's all kind of there in one place. It's pretty cool. So houseofdula.com and check it out. Hey, listen guys, thank y'all for watching. We'll see you very soon next time. Take care.